Hello everyone, my name's John and this is my channel Boondock NH. It's the summer of 2025 and I've finally replaced some of the core tools that I use for car living, car camping, backpacking, and bushcrafting. So I thought I'd make a video explaining what I've been using, what I've replaced it with, and why.
This video is one of a continuing series where I review, retire, and replace a lot of the old or excess gear that I've accumulated over the years. And instead of selling it off nickel and dimed on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or getting a stall at a flea market, I've decided to donate it to one of my local Boy Scout troops. Because I would far rather enjoy the idea of my equipment, which was the best I could afford at the time I purchased it and has a lot of time left service life-wise, helping to foster a lifelong love of the outdoors that the scouting program exposed me to. So it's kind of my pay it back, pay it forward sort of thing. Because I've got a lot of really good gear, but I've got way too much of it. And it's time to let it go. So let's dive in.
But before I handle any sharps in camp, I try to remember to put on a pair of gloves. Whether it be something like these mechanics impact gloves or something more traditional like the cowhide leather gloves for wood splitting. I have a hard enough time with math as it is, but I do comprehend base 10, and change is scary, so I want to protect my digits. Now diving in, the first category of tool that we're going to look at is the camp hatchet. Now this is a Craftsman roofer's shingling hatchet that was there on my very first camping trip in 1985. This thing is a family heirloom that has served generations. It's got a large enough blade and a thin enough geometry that it makes slicing relatively good seasoned wood okay. It can chop smaller diameter trees. The hammerhead is always useful driving tent stakes and persuading pieces of metal back into their shape. But it's long in the tooth. It's time to be replaced. So what I've chosen to do that with is this. This is the Otakel A1 hatchet. This one is the larger of two versions that includes a pry bar tip. The other one is slightly shorter, but for my purposes, I thought that this was an essential. Now, there are a lot of features I really like about this. First off is the unibody construction with a giantly thick piece of steel that runs all the way down, forming the blade and the handle and the pry bar section. The only extras added onto it are the two handle scales and this bolt-on hammerhead, which is really robust. I like it. They use Chicago through bolts so that you can take them off easily with a hex head. I like that you can get a lot of power holding down on the very end of it for those nice splitting strokes or felling strokes. Yet when you move up into this intermediate section, you have more fine control. That would be better for splitting stuff like kindling when you're doing close-in work. And yet further you choke up, and now you've got ultra-precision control. Whether you're making feather sticks or you're shaving a flat into a camp project, I really like that. You could even skin game with this, very easy. So it's a really cool tool. I've been using it for about a month now, and I expect it to last me at least as long as the Craftsman has served me. Very good job, O-Knife. Now the next category we're going to take a look at is a fixed blade knife. And I think that this Morikniv high carbon steel knife has served me longer and better than most of the fixed blades that I have in my collection. It's got a great Scandi grind. It takes and holds a very good edge. But one of the reasons I chose an upgrade is because the blade isn't quite as thick as I would prefer for more aggressive camp tasks, like batoning wood. Now, normally I carry this attached to my belt, yet stuck inside my back pocket, so that I can still access it while I'm wearing a pack with a hip belt, reasonably unencumbered. It is less tactical and threatening than some of the other knives in my collection, which makes it better for usage in mixed or polite company, I would say. But overall, a fantastic knife, and it's not leaving my stable anytime soon. But I was looking for something that was more suited to larger and heavier crafting. So I got this. This is the Cold Steel SRKC. I believe it's a 4.5 or a 5-inch blade, which is substantially thicker than the Morikniv, I don't have the facts and figures. I'm not going to post them. You can do your own research, you lazy bastards. But another thing I had to do on this was put that 90-degree edge on it so that it can strike a ferro rod and make better rock sparks, because it has a really thick painted-on coating that protects the blade and wears very, very durably. I did reprofile the edge on this with my diamond blade, but this thing is just a big, sharp, pointy pry bar that will not fail you. And for about a $35 price point, this one was actually a little bit more because it's OD and they're kind of scarce at the moment. This one's $45, I think, so a bit of a premium there. But I imagine this thing to serve me just as well as the Mora for just as long. And I've been using it with this sheath, which has multiple carry options. It comes with a vertical belt loop with a strap that holds a handle on, but I've actually changed it out to these cold steel small C-clips because I've been playing around with Scout Carry. Again, because I want to be able to access it while I'm still wearing a pack with a hip belt from the small of the back. Now, I like the position, I like the carry, but these clips just aren't my solution, so I'm probably going to keep experimenting and switch that up in the future. But so far as the blade itself goes, I can't imagine a camp task that could be handled by a knife that wouldn't be handled by this. So I'm looking forward to continued use. The next category that we're going to investigate today is a camp saw. And this thing is at least a 10-year veteran in my collection. It is just a regular Fisker's pruning saw. You can get them at your big box store for about $20 to this day. And it works reasonably well. The blade on it is pretty thin. I've bent it and had to reshape it a bunch of times. I've sharpened this thing twice in the 10 years I've had it. I've spread the teeth to make a quite bigger kerf because I find that these fine teeth don't clear the material and it gets bound up in deeper cuts. Pretty much anything deeper than the blade is width-wise, and it starts to slow down and it doesn't clear the cut. So for those reasons, I decided for an upgrade. And for the money, for $25, you just can't go wrong with a Baco Laplander. I know it looks like I'm going for all the tactical OD green tools to fit a look or stuff like that, but no, this thing is just a bulletproof saw. And it's a 9-inch blade with 7 tooth per inch, and it's a really aggressive cut that clears itself very well. Again, I've only had it for a little while, so I haven't even started wearing the paint off the blade. But for the uses I have put it to on seasoned wood rounds and limbs and stuff like that, it's made quick, clean work. You can't go wrong. Now, this final subject, for the longest time, I haven't really had a dedicated camp shovel. I've just been dealing with my little poop trowel. Now, I've owned plenty of those trifold E-tools, the SOG tools and whatnot, everybody's familiar with. But they all have the same drawbacks, they all fail, and for the longest time I haven't had one. But the camp trowel just isn't enough in some situations, so I found this beast of a tool. Now this is the Mastiff Gears folding shovel with pick, and it is a boss. This thing has a really nice hardwood handle. It is through riveted on the handle, so if the wood does break, you can replace it. It's not going to be too difficult to fashion one in the woods if you needed to, but you would have to grind off that rivet and replace it with a bolt or some wire or something like that, which is manageable. But the traditional failing point to a lot of folding E-tools like this is this locking collar and the washer that they have. As you're aggressively hitting and hammering and picking and shoveling with this tool, that washer can get buggered up. This locking ring can get deformed and it won't tighten up or it won't hold. But these are really robust. They're machined really well. They hold tight. And another feature that I really like about this, again, it has a Chicago through bolt that you can take out. So if you are overly aggressive with this and you bend and deform the metal prying or hitting or smashing or whatever the case may be, you can take this apart and reform it, put it back together and put that through bolt through, maybe hit it with some Loctite, and you're good to go. But set up as a mattock, set up as a regular camp shovel, it's just a great robust tool. I've already used this thing rebuilding several fire rings that hapless urbanites have destroyed in a lot of these dispersed camping sites on forest roads, and I see that this thing is going to last a long time. Root cutting teeth, I've never really used them for that purpose, so it's kind of a hit or miss feature. It does have a sharpened edge. That absolutely will chop its way down through any roots and undergrowth and stuff like that. Makes a great self-defense tool if you have nothing else, but I've got choices. Yeah, it's just a beast of a tool, and for somewhere between, I think it was like $35 to $45 on Amazon, this Mastiff Gears shovel was great, and it comes with a nice canvas case that has molly attachments with snaps and a nice carry handle. So yeah, I couldn't not get this, because a little shit shovel, no, it doesn't hold a handle. I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing to my channel and taking a look at some of the other videos that I have. I'm an avid outdoorsman who's been a backpacker and a hiker and a camper since I was a knee-knocking twerp. And in the last couple of years, I've been a car-dwelling outdoorsman, so I may have some things to share that you might enjoy. I'm starting to break things up into video playlists so that I can separate my general vlog and life turmoil stuff from the more outdoorsy videos I do or the gear reviews that I do. So it'll be a more curated experience if there's any one facet of the channel you prefer over another. So again, please take the time to check it out. I hope you have a great time. Go practice your passions. Don't be afraid to get out there and just do what you love. I mean, all this outdoor stuff has been my number one source of healing, and being able to share it with you guys is the whole reason this channel exists.